for a long time, there's definitely been some names that I have really regretted having to say, and yet the ones in the FGC are by far the most creative. Like Orphan Crippler and Gay Fetus are definitely creative.
And Tidal Wave is up there for me. That was a good one.
Oh, I forgot about that one, yeah. But like, they're not just vulgar. Like, there's some creativity behind them. Perfect parry. Speaking of vulgar, gets the knockdown.
Yeah, goes right for the sweep, I imagine, because it's the best knockdown situation they can go for. And I gotta assume this is probably not a matchup that I would think Zangief necessarily wants to play. I think archetypically, Guile into Geef, gotta say, historically, I would assume Geef doesn't like it, but Ramsey's seeming super confident right now, as only a couple of decisions to swing everything back into their favor. Okay.
They still have quite a ways to go, though. That's so they got, man. This life lead's great. I got no words. Like, that's just the way it crumbles.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about the life lead, and you know, as much as we want to say, you know, Ramsey has played this really methodical, really patient Zangief style, and I think, once again, if he gets the lead, like he has right now, say goodbye to your drive gauge off the punish counter, and DI on DI violence, right into the level 3. Yes, if he's not dead, if he isn't dead, he's in burnout, and you're absolutely smoked. No. Oh, he's just dead.
Yeah. Man, Ramsey is kind of a killer.
Yeah, I mean, has anybody been consulting with Ramsey about the relative strength of Zangief?
Right, like, we're always talking about, like, man, Geef's the worst in the game. Geef's terrible. And then here we see Ramsey just clowning on people. So we are going to see them push tempo again. That
was so much drive gauge committed to that. That was 4 bars just to get back in for another mix-up. And you know what? Ramsey has such a life lead. Oh, but now you're going to be burnt out.
Yeah, that only works so many times.
Oh, still lands on the fireball. You know what? You're okay with that, especially if you get that back throw there, just like that. Now Bryan-D on the back foot.
Oh, that was something we saw a lot earlier, where they went for the haymaker to armor through a projectile, but lost out that time. Didn't quite have the charge they were looking for, and they reached.
Woo. All right. Yeah, I think there was a little bit of hunger to just try to finish out that round. That was a little bit of a hungry jump in after the SPD didn't work. I think the whiffed SPD was a spot where mentally you're like, all right, this is over. And then you get another spot for it, and you just aren't prepared to make a situation happen there.
We are going to see
nice low check.
Nice drive advantage coming in here, too.
Okay. Just the plus frames off the DR jab to make that one happen. Blocks the overhead. Parry out of Bryan-D. Oh, wanted the armor from the running bear grab, but Bryan actually is able to beat the armor, cash out the level 3. This is a huge swing from where Ramsey was making this high value read.
And now you're burnt out against a zoner that is fully capable of just chipping you away.
Feels bad. I mean, you have the big tornado super if you make a great read on a fireball, but Bryan can space those out to be relatively safe.
I'd actually be kind of afraid if I was Bryan, if we're being fully honest, and apparently my fear was unfounded, as they're going to be able to close it out. That's
why you're not Bryan, you're Doctor.
That's true. But grapplers are scary, man. How do command grabs even work? They just happen.
They're unblockable. It's overpowered.
Yeah, like you're just having a good time, and all of a sudden this bear man's throwing you to the sky. No, thank you.
Yeah, put it next to Wobbles and ban it. I'm waiting for Bunch to come in and be like, no, actually, Wobbles should have been banned. Okay, we see Ramsey trying to fight his way forward. Okay. Oh, counter hits on counter hits. My guy's making you look like a fool in your own house.
Oh, walking the punish counter.
You know what's cool about this from Ramsey is he's switching from like jumping medium kick to jumping roundhouse, and it's the change in the jump in button is making it harder for Bryan to pick what to anti-air with. Now just a meaty crouching jab to close that one out, and a round on the board for Ramsey.
getting lots of space here to work with. Trying to get that round up early so that they have a little bit of a fallback in case they start falling behind again. But so far, I really enjoy the way Ramsey spends their drive as we see them get punish counted here, right? Because, like, we kind of look at it in them constantly drive rushing forward, right? But they somehow still almost always have more in the tank.
Yeah, I think it's what it is like DI is largely a call they're making either as a really high risk fireball read or it's a defensive choice to like counter DI, and otherwise they're really just committing drive rushes in spots where they know they want to be able to press the issue exactly like that, where it's drive rush to get in and then like drive rush cancel to nest layers of mix-ups. Because every time a grappler is plus at you, you're afraid, like you had said, is going to be able to super through the fireball exactly like I had said earlier. You're definitely dead. And that is game 2 on the board now for Ramsey.
That super is so backloaded. That's crazy. Like all that, like the two like fists came through, did nothing, and then all the damage came on the body slam.
Right. Okay, no anti-airs. I feel like Bryan's anti-air game has been a little bit lacking. I feel like that's a spot where he definitely could have had down charge to be able to pull out a flash kick. And it's not like Ramsey is doing these deep jump-ins like we saw Do representing. It's happening at exactly spots where you should be able to just flash kick.
You really think so, but sometimes you're just so mental stacked out that it's tough to really push tempo, but this is a great position for them to be in. Bryan, huge life lead, huge drive lead.
Oh!
They throw themselves into the chest of a big hairy man, and they get punished for it.
I'm leaving that one alone because I wanted to make political jokes, and that's not going to be okay. No! Instead, we see, whiffs on whiffs. Bryan-D is going to be able to close that round out with exactly enough drive gauge in the tank.
They were definitely both looking for the same thing. Two brains thinking alike. They're continuing to think alike as we do see lots of trades coming back and forth. I like it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think burning a level 3 early is not bad. When commentating Strive, somebody, I think it was, I was told about like a Dogura quote that really stuck with me, which was like, the second you're at full meter, you're losing meter.
Yeah.
And that really stuck with me. If you have the bar, use it.
I forget what game it was, but there is a game, as we do see big damage coming here, that lets you overcharge your meter, and I can't remember what, I don't think it was a fighting game exactly, but now I don't remember. It's stuck with me. But yeah, for the most part, if your bar's full, it's just wasted at the end of that. Like, nothing comes back. The round is over. Game 4 is on the board, and we are heading to game 5.
Yes, indeed. And unfortunately, you were talking about the overcharging of the meter. Ramsey dies with his arms full of groceries because you can't take it with you. No confirm off of that standing short there. I feel like Ramsey is getting a little bit more hesitant with the drive rushes because Bryan has been checking in so many spots.
And that starts to weigh heavily on you, and so we're getting this parry game, and we're seeing the parry pump strat from Ramsey, which is inefficient.
Woo!
But the OD bear grab is very efficient in terms of damage.
All right, and now we're cycling back in that armored punch, and one more touch ought to do it now for Ramsey. What's it going to be? Wanted to bait out some sort of response out of Bryan, and you can just do this. Wait for Bryan to overcommit to something, make a mistake. That drive reversal actually feels like a mistake. You have committed far too much.
-8 on block. Burnout is really a thing, and they are okay with the big man haymaker.
All right, and that is now set point for Ramsey to move on to the losers finals and play against Naji.
That's really far away, but it works out here for Ramsey. It's still so goofy seeing him just kind of like float off the ground for that.
Yeah, I mean, tiger knees are tiger knees. What are you going to do? Okay, step kick, not really getting a whole lot. Big jump in from Ramsey, who goes for the empty jump into the OD SPD.
All right, we
Level
got the
2 out of Bryan. just wants to burn him out. But I feel like Ramsey is only so afraid, right? Depending on the strength of the SPD, a command grab here kills. You have a super available to you. You're comfortable waiting this out. You're halfway through. That's the stun. But Bryan doesn't have a whole lot to commit to be able to build more damage out of this. Early run back into the wall splat.
This is now a scary position. You have to be so ready for the potential drive rush. The throw is always there as well, and this suddenly becomes a lot more difficult for Ramsey.
You're absolutely right. Bryan has swung this round
Nah,
so far into his favor, but the drive rush SPD, it comes back around to stand short. Drive rush cancel. They gave this man one button for drive rush, and he's using it. Moving on, gets the run back against Naji, which, as I've scrolled up, was 3-2 when they played in the winners semis. How is this going to change? What different energy do you think Ramsey is going to be able to bring to the table here to have an answer for Naji, besides maybe just playing Honda off rip?